Hello, it's me. So, shout out to Lon TV for their coverage, a great informational channel. Do go over and show them some love. It's always nice to recognise the various people doing good work on YouTube. So, right out the gate, tinfoil hat time. It's been a while, but here we are. So, your TV spying on you. I remember a few years ago, TVs used to come with cameras on them. And people said, oh, the cameras are spying on you. The cameras on your bits of kit are spying on you. And then the picture went round of Mark Zuckerberg at an interview, and he'd taped the camera up on his laptop. And pretty much that was all anybody needed to know on the subject. So there have been various attempts to stop this data collection. But the manufacturers seem to find new and interesting ways to defeat any attempts to stop the surveillance. So let's have a listen.
So how do these smart TVs spy on you? Well, it's more than just looking at what apps you load up. Most televisions now employ a technology called ACR, otherwise known as automatic content recognition. And what this does is it monitors...
So what if your TV doesn't have a camera? Well, it seems as though it doesn't need a camera, as we're about to find out.
What the TV is outputting, both the video and the audio. It takes samples of that content, visual images and audio snippets, sends them off to a server to get identified. And from that, they build a profile about your household as to what you are watching, to direct ads to you, either through the built-in system or to sell that data to data brokers who then hit you on Facebook and all the other places where they're tracking you.
Now, that's all I'm going to use of that, and I'd like to say thank you to Lon TV for that snippet of information, because it's led me to another rather interesting subject and content creator, a magnificent gentleman called Lewis Rossman, who has devoted his life to God's work, and that includes the right to repair. So, in a nutshell, the right to repair is the right for an individual, a consumer, to buy a bit of kit, like this tablet that I'm currently filming on, or a laptop, or a car, or rather increasingly bizarrely in modern times, smart beds, all kinds of smart devices. The movement exists to allow, as I say, consumers, ordinary people like yourself and myself, to repair the kit that they've bought, regardless of what it might be. As I say, car, smart bed. They're using all kinds of mechanisms to both legal and legislative to stop consumers repairing the goods that they bought. Years and years ago, we used to call it, there was a thing called built-in obsolescence, where we found back in the 90s that all of a sudden things you were buying weren't lasting very long. And it became apparent that companies were manufacturing their goods to only last an average of about 5 years. Because rather like the saying, there's no money in a cure for cancer, there's no money in kit that lasts a long time. If your washing machine lasts 20 years, you're no longer a customer. You're satisfied. I'm very happy with your product, but you're no longer an active customer. So, something occurred to me in amongst all this palaver. And that is quite simply that, what if there was a large element of the denial of right to repair was to stop you accessing the electronic components inside the product that you'd bought, in order that you couldn't disable the data collection. Now, I talk frequently about how we're dripping in intelligence, and by that I mean the intelligence services, the spy versus spy stuff. They're everywhere. They're your newsreaders, your weather forecasters, your celebrities, they're your politicians, they're everywhere. Effectively captured and now working for some intelligence service or another, so that the state can provide you, the citizen, with a narrative. Everything's fine, it's okay. Just calm down. It's fine. And I did say at the very outset, tinfoil hat time. But what if? What if the fight that Lewis Rosman is on, and he's done stellar work, by the way. The man is just a powerhouse of persistence and research and good advice. And he's fighting, he's advocating for the consumer's rights. And anything that empowers the citizen is fine by me, frankly. But he hasn't touched upon my rather conspiratorial view of this, because there's no need for it. The work that he's doing doesn't necessarily require anything that I've said. But as I've also said, the state is as the state does, and is constantly looking for ways to better itself, ways to do the things that it does, to be more effective. And so this data collection, as we know, is sold to all kinds of data brokers, all kinds of people who potentially shouldn't have the information. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if indeed government entities, offshoots, proxies, organizations had access to this data? It then ceases to become a consumer exercise and starts to become an exercise of the state and surveillance. So do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe and share. And until next time, this is me signing off. Do look after yourselves.